That was really hard to do without laughing because of how funny the noise is. Hi guys, I wanted to share something with you. I'm currently reading Prozac Nation. It's a beautiful book. I've wanted to read it for years now, but it wasn't right. I needed to wait until I was able to read it from a healthy perspective. I didn't want it to be triggering during my angsty teen years when I watched the film a bunch of times and knew roughly the context of what Elizabeth Wurtzel, is that how yeah, I hope so, what her memoir entails. However, it's beautiful. I really love it. I think she does a really good job at capturing something that can be easily misunderstood. That being said, there were a few parts of this book that I did really want to share with you. In fact, there's this one passage that it really struck me. If I were still in school, this is something that I would be writing an essay about and just wanting to elaborate, like for fun, because I love writing essays. But instead, I think I'm going to actually like verbally tell a story about it. So I don't know, if you could just listen and keep an open mind for a couple of minutes with what I have to say, I would really appreciate it. We try. We all struggle all the time to find words to express our love. The quality, the quantity, certain that no two people have experienced it before in the history of creation. Perhaps Catherine and Heathcliff, perhaps Romeo and Juliet, maybe Tristan and us. Oh, I don't know this person I saw all day. I feel like this is some sorry. Maybe Hero and Leander. But these are just characters. Make-believe. We have known each other forever, since before contraception even. We have played together in a playpen, crossing paths at FAO shorts. We remember meeting in front of the Holy Temple in the days before Christ. We remember greeting each other at the Forum, at the Parthenon, on passing ships as Christopher Columbus sailed to America. We have survived a pogrom together. We have died in Dachau together. We have been lynched by the Ku Klux Klan together. There has been cancer, polio, the bubonic plague, consumption, morphine addiction. We have had children together. We have been children together. We were in the womb together. Our history is so deep and wide and long. We have known each other a million years, and we don't know how to express this kind of love, this kind of feeling. I get paralyzed sometimes. One day we are in the shower and I want to say to him, I could be submerged in 60 feet of water right now, never drowning, never even fearing drowning, knowing I would always be safe with you here, knowing that it would be okay to die as long as you are here. I want to say this, but don't. Okay. That might be my favorite passage in this entire book. That's for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think it is just beautifully written. You can take a shot for every time I say beautiful in this video because I know it's already like 4. I think that's a beautiful way, fuck, I can't even not say it. It's a great way of putting that feeling of meeting someone and being so deeply in love that it feels like you've known that person for eternity, past your own life, back to, like she references so many historic things and fictional characters that go into such great length, and you can tell that she is so educated and intelligent to even compare this and to bring up such major historic events, and like we have known each other through this, we've known each other since we were little, since before we were born, since we were in the womb together, that's how close I feel to you. At the same time, she never tells this person that. You know, like she's feeling this way and she tells us in the book how she wants to open up. She wants to express this to him when they're in one of the most vulnerable and intimate positions as taking a shower together because, well, you're naked, so there's that vulnerability, but like you're cleansing. It's like such a natural thing, and she can't seem to open up and just tell him that. She says she wants to, but she doesn't. And I've ended a lot of personal journals with that sentence where it's like, I really, really want to say this, but don't. And it's not like I regret it, it's like we almost know that we can't say it. But what struck me most about this passage and those couple of paragraphs is the lack of relatability. I don't have someone that I've known throughout history like this. I don't have someone where I can say we've survived all of these plagues and wars together and I've known them longer than I've been alive. I may have felt that way briefly. I may have thought that I believed it or have been that way with people in the past, but when it really comes down to it, I don't think I have anyone in my life where I could say that passage to and fucking believe it. I don't think I have anyone where I could be in the shower with and tell them that if I were 60 feet under and not drowning, that I would be okay with dying because I'd be there with them. She references Romeo and Juliet, which I think is a very brave thing to do because it is it's almost like a perceived cliche in literature, and I feel like if you are to reference that and you're not writing something on Shakespeare, I mean, it's the most well-known piece of Shakespeare literature. It's the first piece of Shakespeare that I was exposed to in 6th grade. Everyone knows the story, and I feel like it's very tough to connect that, and I try to avoid that just for the similar case that, like, it's become a cliche to say Romeo and Juliet. She does it in a morbid but very nice, beautiful way, because the whole concept of this is morbid, that like she would be okay dying because she'd be with them, which is exactly the concept of Romeo and Juliet. They would rather die than be apart. I think I have the tendency of falling in love very easily because I'm so open to the idea of it and because I want it so badly that it doesn't take much for me to fall in love with someone. It's always in hindsight where I realize, fuck, you know, that person probably wasn't the best for you. I'm not saying I fall in love with everyone, and I have been in relations with people where I knew I could never get to that level and I didn't really know what I was doing, wasting my time with them, but I have felt a certain way for people that was new. That was experience where I was like, this is a rush of care for someone that I have never felt before. And it hurts reading this because I wish I could relate and be like, yes, this is everything. Because all I got out of it was, that was well written, that was beautiful, and that is something that I can't say about anyone. It doesn't make me feel sad, but it doesn't really make me feel happy either. On a separate note, I have a date tonight. God, if you follow me on Snap, I have a date like every night. But it's stupid because I haven't even met this guy yet, and I already know that it's not going to work out, and I'm not like putting a damper on it with a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's more like I already know we're not looking for the same thing, but I need attention, and I want a free meal and someone to ask about me even if they don't really care, so I'll do it anyway. Maybe that's why I can't relate to Elizabeth Wurtzel's words, because of the patterns that I'm following. If I set my standards differently, then I could change it. Those are my thoughts. This is a great book. Read with caution. I wouldn't recommend it to certain people if I knew where they were mentally, but it's good, and it's something that I feel like you should read at least once in your life. Also, it's so cool because Prozac is an antidepressant. It's a fluoxetine. I don't know, it's like the first major antidepressant that was effective. I believe it came out in, 70s, 80s? I might be so wrong on the date. I should know this. I'm in a psych course. I'm supposed to know these dates. But what's different and unique and special about her memoir about Prozac is she was one of the very first patients to be tested on it and to have positive results. And this was historic, you know, the whole world of psychology and psychiatrists, meaning doctors that can prescribe you medication for mental illnesses and such. It was so new during this time and wasn't really that understood. I feel like it still isn't completely understood, and there is so much more that we have to learn from it, but her memoir is historic in the sense that it's educational and we can all benefit from hearing kind of where it has started and how far we have gone, because everything is kind of trial and error. She was kind of part of that, but she's a success story in the sense that it did work and she is getting better. I haven't finished it, but obviously, like, I know what happens. I've seen the film 1,000 times and I know her story quite well, so it's good. I mean, I was on Prozac for a few years. No, I was on Prozac a few years ago, but not for a few years. I was on it for a couple months. Didn't have the best experience, so it's interesting to hear her story. I know why though, because I didn't fucking have depression. I had bipolar and it's different, but yeah, mental illness. This covered a lot. Thank you to anyone that is still watching. Mom, I hope you are not watching because I've told you to stop watching this channel. This isn't even funny. Okay.